Hello, Pyramid Energy. Something pulled me into the cards today, into this container. And, I had a good feeling about it. And here we are. As I was shuffling, I saw the Six of Cups, which already was speaking to me about how to share your energy. Almost going back to basics, the basics of giving and sharing, an approach of reciprocity with the assumption that you need to give something and the other needs to be giving back to you. But with a balanced air to it, not a stingy air to it. How do you give generously without being taken advantage of? That's the question. In front of me here I have the Four of Pentacles, which speaks to what you're holding back. Crossing you I have the Two of Pentacles. So already we're speaking here around your value and trying to make a decision. And so this is where you're stuck. Before I started laying out the cards, I had the Eight of Swords under the deck. And so this is taking up quite a bit of your energy, this thought process, and an ability to move on smoothly because you want to be free, but then again, you don't want to make mistakes you've made in the past. In your recent past year, I have the Queen of Pentacles, so more pentacles, and it's speaking to this place you've arrived at, where you've been sorting through your value and getting to know, the word that comes to mind is self-concept. And so developing your self-concept through working through all of the mental chatter that you've been clearing up, realizing that it has often been your own thoughts that have got in the way of the truth of who you are. And so this has been working through your belief systems and working out the ones and kneading through the ones where these are not going to take you forward, and even questioning why you ever thought them to begin with. In your near future, I have the Nine of Wands. You see this man's holding his one wand, the ninth one. This tends to be the card of the wounded warrior, been through a lot, seen a lot, healed from a lot, and so cautious around how to share. This is what I see him doing. He's got 5 wands to the one side, the side he's facing, which speaks to the changes that he's made already. And so those ones are standing and he thinks he's pleased with them. The ones behind him are the 3. This is where he's realizing now there are 8 that are standing that he's yet to let go of this 9th one. And the 3 speak to me about the vision that he has and realizing that if he holds back on this 9th wand, no matter how much strain he wants to avoid, if he holds back on the full 9, he's not going to be able to see his vision through. And so this is where changes and visions come together and beg the question, are you going to move forward? And with that, I have 353 on the clock. At the top of mind, I have the Empress. This also very much speaks to your sense of personal value, everything you've put into yourself. In the subconscious here, I've got the Chariot, which also the 8s are coming up quite a bit. The Chariot is you want to take off. You want to get it moving. I see this Empress, she's sitting in one place. I also see the Four of Pentacles sitting in one place. And the Nine of Wands speaks to this, I'm going to need to take some steps now. I'm going to need to move. I think I've done enough. In your advice, I have the Five of Swords. This man's also holding on to his 3 swords. He's checking his back, and there are still 2 swords left on the ground. This Five of Swords is saying to me, just in terms of the 5, it's speaking a lot to a shift in thought processes. And so this is speaking to what it is that actually governs your thought process, that allows you to retain your truth as you move forward. This is for the purposes of not using up all your energy thinking about how much to give, how much you're taking, always having your mind on that. The 3 that he's holding remind me of the 3 of Swords, and the 2 that are on the ground remind me of the 2 of Swords. This is to say, everything that you've healed from, all of the lessons you've learned, this is lived experience. You're not going to forget those lessons. You already know the feeling of how something feels to you when it feels safe, when it feels right. And most importantly, you are familiar with the art of recovery. You're very familiar with the art of recovery. And so where the 2 of Swords would speak to confusion, they're saying the confusion at this point can be left on the ground. It can crop up whenever it crops up, whether it's caused by others, whatever it arises from. You've already done the healing work, and so you know those processes on how to not guard yourself. It's that recovery I'm speaking about. This is an art. And so now this survival, this sense of survival, you don't need to live in that. And besides all of that, your future experiences, going in already, you're already entering safer territory, and that's not because the environments have changed, that's because you've shifted. And through your own shifts, the environments you expose yourself to are inherently safe for you, because I don't want to make it sound like you have armor, but you are shielded. You are shielded because you've already had to do the work to get past and conquer your own thoughts. Once a person has conquered their own thoughts, who's another person's thoughts? How's another person's thoughts going to come in and twist your thoughts? You have changed a lot. And you've earned your experience. You've paid your school fees. So this is a different experience, and they're asking you to shift how you process your movements and how you share. You actually are able to enjoy a lot more freedom than you could before. I'm seeing something very interesting in the 8 of Pentacles here. This is in the surrounding factors. This man is working on a pentacle. There's another one lined up behind him that's going to be next. He's already got 6 queued, ready. These elements that are surrounding you, these places, these people, these things that are wanting to collaborate with you, that's what's in your surrounding factors. These are generous people. Why are they being generous? They're being generous because there's a sense of having earned the pleasure of your company. And so you're actually being seen as a person of value. Wherever you are right now, you're being seen as a person of value. I have the Emperor in the area of what you want the most and what you fear the most. So it's as if from your vantage point, you actually are sitting in a position of privilege right now. And I'm very much feeling this sense of privilege that you're experiencing. And so partly why you want to really consider how much you share is because you do not want to take advantage of anyone. And so this is your more generous, compassionate, mindful side that's coming through. And so to an extent, you almost fear how much power you have, because you can actually tell that your presence, your input, your contribution is valued. And so this spread is also asking you to extend some of this honor to yourself. I have the Empress and the Emperor in one spread here. And this spread is full of pentacles. I've also got the Knight of Pentacles in your outcome. And so this is saying that this is going to be a gradual process. You're headed somewhere here. I want to look into that. You're headed somewhere here. And a lot of your experiences have been to build you to this point. When you look at the Empress and you look at the Emperor, and you've got the Queen of Pentacles and you've got the Chariot. I've listened to someone quite a few times often say, only an Emperor and an Empress ride in a chariot. These are aspects of you. So this is a point of balance that you've reached that is visible. And so you're feeling your value, you can feel it. However, it's these thought processes that are sometimes still slowing you down in terms of your movement. Once the chariot gets going, it wants to go. Once we go, we want to go. We don't want to keep stopping and definitely not stopping and starting because of our own thoughts, because that's actually reflective of past thought processes. It's not reflective of your reality. And so your reality is saying, instead of fearing your own power, and because that's what you want to lean into your power and your influence, but you want to do it correctly. You want to do it with integrity. And they're saying, you're already being honored for these values. You're already being honored for these values. You've earned this. You've earned this. And so give yourself some grace and sit on your cushion for a while because you deserve this. And so I've asked the Knight of Pentacles, where is this place you're headed to? Where are you headed? Slowly, gradually, in a very sustainable way. Where is this place you're headed to? And I got the Knight of Cups and the Ten of Cups. You're headed to a place where you're going to be offered opportunities in earnest. These are opportunities that you've earned this. It's a little bit, I do not want to say it's hard to believe. I'm saying that this is the point at which you're going to remind yourself that you are being honored for everything you've put in. Also, the way I see this Knight of Cups, I feel like it's the Knight of Cups that's headed towards the Ten of Cups. Having had the Knight of Pentacles preceding that, I feel like it's this gradual walk with getting to know your value unto yourself and also the value that other people feel in you and want to know you for. It's this Knight of Pentacles that is going to be leading the Knight of Cups. And so as you offer others yourself, if this is coming from a good place, a clean place, a place where you're not processing so much so mentally, you're rather recognizing that you are valued, because this is already being reciprocated, so there's no worry about that. But this is, as you offer, this is all of your offerings that are going to be resulting in this feeling of fulfillment that you headed into. And I asked with this, what do you need to take from all of this? What do you need to keep with you? What do you need to know as you headed to this place? And the card I got is the Hierophant. And the Hierophant is the number 5 as well. So I've had a lot of 5s, I've had a lot of 8s, I've had a lot of 3s. And this is saying that all of the wisdom that you've gathered, all of the lessons, so this is also coming up because it came up earlier when I raised the 3 of Swords. All of this wisdom has been earned. Everything you've learned, these are the things you need to keep close with you. And so you needn't actually go back to working through all of that. Wisdom is like, it's truth that you can apply in any scenario. When something arises, a challenge arises, you remember the wisdom and you apply it. And so you don't have to do the slugging work. And they're saying that with the 5, they're saying that things are going to constantly be changing around you. This is the nature of life. But hold these these pillars that you've gathered for yourself, hold those close, because those are the ones that have got you to where you are. And so, even in the times where you thought you might fail, it's these keys that allowed you to open each subsequent door. And so they're saying you'll always have these keys. They're saying that you're never going to be locked down, locked into yourself. That's not where you're going. And so keep these, because in this position of privilege you're sitting in, this Hierophant is telling me that it's even more important for you now to show up with integrity, to show up as someone who lives by the values that they teach. This is very important, because this is actually why you're being honored for your value and your contribution. And so continue to stick with your truth. Keep your truth close to you. And once you started to get used to living in your truth, then much less energy will be spent on figuring it out with each scenario that arises. I asked for clarity on this Four of Pentacles, where you're showing up, trying to also see more into what it is that you're holding back. Part of the stuff you're holding back, I've got the Eight of Cups and the Five of Wands. This is stuff you've walked away from, your struggles, your internal battles. You've changed your story. And so while it might feel like your story is very real to you, it's clear that in your thought process there's actually, and even in how you communicate, you've changed your story. And so where before you might have shared a whole lot around what you've been through, your experiences and your struggles and your battles and all of that, you don't actually need to speak about those anymore. You have reduced the number of words that you use as you share yourself, and each word holds more value. And I'd like you to apply this not just in terms of word communication, I mean in terms of how you're showing up. Through your words, it's clear that you've earned your value. This is very interesting. I say that because to change your story is a huge feat to overcome. You can go through so much and see so much and still want that to be part of your story, as if it gives your story more clout, more value, more weight. But you don't need that anymore. You don't need that anymore. And I've got the Seven of Wands clarifying the Eight of Pentacles here in your surrounding factors, the people that you're dealing with. This is like this energy you're giving off, this inherent, like palpable sense of value that you just hold. It sends a message to other people. It's been sending a message to other people that, and I don't want to say you are not to be messed with. I don't want to say that. I'd rather say something like, there's almost no point in trying to mess around with you. Mess around, I mean, all these things that people do to try and twist your thoughts and your perception of yourself, your self-concept. Because sometimes it's your self-concept that's under attack, even if other people are not conscious of the fact that that's what they're attacking. So sometimes they mean to, but sometimes they don't mean to attack your self-concept. But now it's asking for people to almost gather the courage to present themselves in front of you and deal with you. They almost feel like they need to have a certain humility and understanding. You also approach with humility. They're matching your energy. And anyone who cannot match your energy is retreating. I can see this. I can actually see it. And you're not doing this with any flexing. You're not doing this with any needing to shove anyone around. It's as if you're just holding your head up high, yet so humbly. Your energy has shifted big time. When it comes to the Emperor, the area of what you want the most but fear the most, I asked for clarity. And my clarity question was really a why. Why is this such a fear? And I got the 5 of Pentacles. And so this is a fear of alienation. This is a fear of being too much and getting injured because you may be misperceived as having too much pride. That's the word that comes up for me. It's not about the power. It's the fear of being considered too proud. That's not real. That's not real. These are not the spaces that you're in. You are highly discerning about the spaces that you're in. I also see you extremely deeply discerning about what you consume. And so this is all content. And I'm not referring to social media or anything. I feel like you are beyond, you way further progressed. You almost don't even need to hide from that because your ear and your eye is so discerning already. This is around things that people say to you. You used to digest them differently and you used to let them sink into your skin, even without a word sometimes. And now, it's like you've got the sword that just cuts right down to it because you almost have this compassion that's able to extend way further than yourself and be able to understand, not just feel, not just know, to actually understand the limitations of the other. And so a lot of that backlash that comes back that you used to send on to yourself after being hard on other people, that's no longer there. You're projecting way less than you used to. And so I'm saying that your surroundings are actually safer because your aura, the space you take up around yourself has grown, yet it's so welcoming for others if they can match you. And this is not matching necessarily your value, and that value is personal. Value is personal. The fact that we live in a world where we are convinced that value is placed on us externally is just not true. So value is internal. And so you've got room. You've got room for others within your energy because they're actually entering your energy to give and share, to enjoy your fruit with you and be with you and honor you as you honor them. It just feels like a very fair and free energy that you're sharing and offering of yourself. Something else that was coming up for me is I feel like the reason I've done this reading and shared this message is also to let you know that naturally there are spaces that you still exist in that you've always been in. These are not the people and the places that are going to have noticed this change in you. And I can see exactly why. The reason for this is you have simply stopped explaining yourself to these places. And to the new places and the new spaces, there is no need to explain yourself. And so this is a complete turnaround in terms of how you move. How you move has changed. And so don't be surprised or misunderstand where you're at just because your current surroundings have not adjusted with you and don't carry this awareness of your shifts. As long as it took you to create these shifts within yourself, naturally, not everyone will catch up at the same pace. And so honor those people as well, because, you know, they're a part of your journey. They're a part of where you're from. If you love them, then you love them. And they are not necessarily dishonoring you by not keeping up with your idea of your self-concept. Where you are and where you feel yourself to be right now is not very relatable. It's simply not that relatable. And so extend your compassion in that direction as well for yourself, and to also avoid accumulating any new reasons to engage in this forgiveness process of yourself, of others, all of that. I've pulled an oracle card from the Priestess of Light Oracle deck. This card is number 17, Sacred Action. The 1 and the 7 add up to the 8 for me, which is momentum. And the 1 represents, first of all, your soul power, you, the space that you're in, this togetherness that you currently hold. It also speaks to me about your intervention. And the 7 is about divine timing. And so this is all of these things about yourself have gathered at this particular time for a reason. This woman is wearing, it's almost like this cheetah has become her crown, with the sun behind it. And so for me, this speaks to your time in the sun, the cheetah being, if I'm not mistaken, the most agile and the fastest land mammal there is. This is to say that you are worthy of being guarded and walking with the spirit of the cheetah. And so there's nothing to question here. You're supported in terms of your agility, your speed, your stealthiness. Is that a word? Stealth? I just looked up the meaning of stealth. It says cautious and surreptitious action or movement, the silence and stealth of a hungry cat. And then it says, chiefly of aircraft, it says, designed in accordance with technology which makes detection by radar or sonar difficult. So this to me speaks to also how you're moving right now. You're pretty much undetectable. This is because of this shift that you've undergone. This is the change in your story. And earlier I spoke about how this level, this space of self-concept that you're in, that it's hard to grasp. It's difficult to grasp. This is the beauty of retreating for the time that you need to take the rest and create a break between the former you and the new you. I'm very proud of you, whoever you are. I'm very proud of you. You've put in a lot of work, and I think you know you've put in a lot of work, but the only person who can affirm you here is you. This can no longer be expected of anyone else, and even the confirmation of it cannot be expected. When you question yourself, you ask yourself, why is the spirit of the cheetah behind me? And that's because you are worthy of the spirit of the cheetah. Let me read from the guidebook. It says, it's time to bring the active energy of the cheetah into your life. This swift cat represents decisive action and intense focus. Take an honest look at the projects or situations that have, for some reason, been put on hold. Perhaps you've been waiting for a better time, unsure of what you want to focus on or even what action to take. This card is telling you to let go of the hesitation. Your soul longs for you to move forward on your path. Whether your goal is personal, professional, or spiritual, you have the power to manifest whatever you desire. Now is the time to resolve to pick a direction that calls to your heart and act. Let go of your self-doubt and fear of making the wrong decision. The strength of your spirit will guide you every step of the way. Your spirit may also take you in the more global direction of sacred activism. The light of shared consciousness between animal and human can help you take decisive action to make the earth and all her life forms a top priority. And as your loving intention expands to encompass others, it accelerates the beneficial momentum and activates blessings worldwide. In this way, you have the power to heal the earth and yourself in your actions and choices every day. Affirmation. I focus on the options before me. I choose to take decisive action in the direction of my dreams. So many confirmations in this card. This is the time where you're called to pursue your dreams. Your dreams are already pursuing you. I heard a line last week which just put it so beautifully. I heard it in another reading. She said, "The dream is truly at mercy of the dreamer, not the dreamer at mercy of the dream." And so these are your dreams that are pursuing you. And you have the support. And you have the support of divine timing on top of that. And so they're saying, just move now. Just move because you can. And because your heart says it wants you to feel like you must. Sending you love.